be speaking about. Sometimes we think that when things don't go our way, it means we've failed. We feel like we've been left behind. People around us seem to be progressing, finding success, reaching milestones, moving forward in life, while we feel stuck in a loop. And that job didn't work out. The proposal got rejected. The visa didn't come through. The business collapsed. Or you were trying so hard to complete your studies and yet again something got in the way. We should be speaking about. The human heart can be weighed on heavily when plans don't manifest as expected. It becomes difficult to remain hopeful when the delay stretches into months and then years. But let us pause for a moment and remember something powerful. Delay is not denial. A delay in your journey is not a disqualification. Speaking about. It is, in fact, divine direction. It is a part of Allah's way of realigning your path to something better. That we're speaking about, when you feel like nothing is happening, know that behind the scenes, so much is unfolding in your favor. The speaking about. Allah is never unaware of your efforts, your dust, tears, your sleepless nights, your restlessness. He knows the longing in your heart, the things you don't even verbalize, the quiet prayers you whisper into the darkness. What seems like silence, often the moment just before a better plan is revealed. But because we only see a tiny piece of the puzzle, we misinterpret the pause as punishment. We think we're lost. But we are not lost. We are being guided to something far more meaningful, something more protective for our iman and more nourishing for our soul. If only we could see what Allah has prepared for us, we would not complain for a single moment. When Allah delays something, it is because the time isn't right yet. Sometimes you are ready, speaking about, but the environment you are meant to be in is not. Sometimes you are mature, but the people you are supposed to be around have not been aligned yet. Sometimes delay is a means of preparing you spiritually, out emotionally or mentally, so that you can receive His blessing without arrogance, without entitlement, and without falling into the trap of dunya. Sometimes the delay is because what you're asking for isn't actually good for you, and Allah is redirecting you to something you didn't even know you needed. This redirection might come with pain, because part of letting go means breaking your attachment to your own plans. But it is through this breaking that Allah rebuilds something far more beautiful than you imagined. You may think your life is on pause, but in truth, your story is still being written. Every chapter of hardship is followed by a chapter of ease. Every moment of confusion is eventually illuminated by clarity. Every closed door leads to an unseen gate being prepared. But it takes patience to reach it. You must keep walking, even when you can't see the way. Trust that the one who created the road also knows where it leads. Even the detours are not wasted. Even the long pauses carry wisdom. Allah does not delay anything except with purpose. He does not test you through weight without intending something greater. Speaking about. So what you call a delay is actually divine protection and preparation. In life, we are quick to compare our journey with others. We look at classmates, cousins, friends, and feel like we've fallen behind. But comparison is the thief of peace. Your story is unique, speaking about. Your timing is personalized by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Just because it hasn't happened for you yet, doesn't mean it never will. And even if it never does, what Allah gives in return for your patience will always outweigh what you imagined. The believer never loses. If you are tested, it is purification. If you are delayed, it is elevation. If you are broken, it is for rebuilding stronger. This mindset just brings comfort. It brings hope. It helps you wake up every day with certainty that your journey is still unfolding with purpose. Even if the road ahead is foggy, the heart that trusts Allah is never truly lost. You may feel lost to the world, but you are always known to your Creator. He knows the battles you are fighting silently. He knows the heaviness you carry. He knows how hard you are trying. And every step you take in His remembrance, even if it's small, even if it's just saying, Ya Allah, in the middle of the night, is a step towards something incredible. So don't let the delay define you. Don't let the lack of results convince you that your effort was pointless. Keep praying, that be speaking about. Keep striving, keep going. What you are calling a delay is actually divine direction. What we're speaking at, what you think is a detour is a shortcut to something far better. Allah is realigning your path to something greater than you can comprehend right now. You just have to hold on a little longer. It's easy to think that when something breaks in our life, we have been rejected, that the relationship ending, the job loss, the illness, the sudden disappointment, it all means we are not worthy, that perhaps we are being punished, pushed away, discarded. The weight of such emotions can be so heavy that a person begins to question their value, speaking about. But let's remind ourselves that hardship is not a form of divine rejection. In fact, it's often the opposite, speaking about. It is a moment of redirection. It is the evidence that the author of your story is moving you toward something you cannot see right now, speaking about. But He knows it is where your heart and soul truly belong. When you face hardship, your vision is clouded. The pain makes everything feel like a dead end. But in reality, it's not a dead end. Be speaking about. It's a bend in the road that changes your direction for the better. We often pray to be guided, and sometimes that guidance comes in the form of hardship. The heartbreak makes you turn back to Allah. Speaking of the loss makes you seek deeper meaning. The rejection makes you more sincere in your prayers. The isolation makes you discover the beauty of His companionship. So instead of looking at hardship as being thrown away, be speaking about. See it as being brought closer, closer to your real purpose, closer to the path that will elevate your akira, speaking about, and closer to the one who never leaves. This dunya is not the destination, it is only the test. It is filled with moments of trial that shake us to the core. But Allah has said, indeed, with hardship comes ease. And ease is not just about things getting better outwardly, it's about your heart finding peace inwardly. So when you are being repositioned through hardship, understand that you are being pulled away from harm, speaking about, or you are being elevated through purification, or you are being reminded of what really matters. Sometimes the blessing is not in gaining, but in being removed from something that could have destroyed you in ways you couldn't anticipate. Look at the stories of the prophets. Every single one of them went through immense hardship. Speaker Yusuf was betrayed and imprisoned, yet through that pain he was elevated to a position of honor. Musa was exiled out, yet through that journey he became the liberator of his people. Ibrahim was thrown into the fire, yet Allah made it cool and safe. These stories are not just history, they are lessons for us. That even when the world turns against you, you are not forgotten. You are being redirected for a divine purpose. And your hardship, no matter how intense, is not a sign of being unloved. It is a sign that something greater is unfolding through the test. When people walk away, when the door is slammed in your face, when life doesn't go as planned, remember that rejection by the world is not rejection by your Lord. In fact, it is sometimes through pushed away by others that we are pulled closer to Allah, speaking about. It is through the rejection that we learn to detach from the temporary and attach to the eternal. And the more your heart attaches to the eternal, the more peace you begin to feel even in the midst of pain. That is the real treasure of hardship. The closeness it brings to the one who is always near. What you are experiencing now may feel like destruction, but it could be the foundation of your future. Allah does not discard those He loves. He purifies them, realigns them, strengthens them, and then positions them in places they never imagined. So every hardship you face, no matter how unbearable it feels, is a step toward a better version of your story. A story being rewritten with mercy, love, and divine wisdom that we're speaking about. A story in which you are not discarded, you are being repositioned for something far greater. Pain is not meaningless. It may feel like your suffering has no end and your wounds are too deep to ever heal. But the truth is, even your pain is known to the one who created you. It is recorded, understood, and wrapped in layers of divine wisdom. We're speaking about when you experience pain in life, it's not just a random event or a mistake in your journey. It is part of the greater script written by the one who knows the beginning and the end. And sometimes your greatest growth and your deepest wisdom and your truest connection with Allah come through the chapters you never wanted to live. The heartbreak, the loss, the betrayal, the loneliness, the grief, these are not detours from your purpose. Speaking out, they are tools being used to shape it. When you are broken, you see the world differently. You no longer rely on people the way you used to. You no longer find comfort in temporary things. That illusion you had about control starts to fade, and you realize how fragile this life really is. And in that realization, something beautiful is born: sincerity. A sincere cry to Allah that perhaps you never uttered before. A speak your sujood where your forehead touches the ground, not out of routine, but out of desperation. A sincere turning back to the one who never turned away from you, even when you forgot him. So pain is not the end of your story. It is the inking about that rewrites it with sincerity, with humility, with deep, heartfelt connection to your Lord. Sometimes the pain continues for a long time. You keep praying and still feel the heaviness in your chest. You keep trying to move forward, but something keeps pulling you down. We should speaking about. And in those moments, you start to wonder if you've been left behind. But know this: being broken is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that your heart is being molded for something higher. Allah doesn't allow your tears to fall in vain. Every drop carries a message. Every wound has a purpose. Every scar becomes a reminder of the time you thought you would never survive. But by the mercy of Allah, you did it. Through your brokenness that empathy is born. You begin to understand the pain of others. You begin to soften your tone, lower your gaze, extend your hand, and speak with more compassion. Speaking about, you are no longer quick to judge because you've tasted pain yourself. And that alone is a powerful part of your purpose, to be a source of comfort and understanding to someone else who feels as lost as you once did. Speaking about, this is how pain connects us, not only to Allah, but to each other. It humbles you, purifies your soul, and teaches you lessons that no book can teach. Do not hide your broken chapters thinking they are marks of shame. In reality, they are the very places where your soul met its author. That sleepless night you spent crying to Allah. Speaking about, that moment when you made dua from a place so deep it brought trembling. These are the moments being written to your story with light. These are the unseen victories that shape the strongest believers. The ones who rise not because life became easy, but because Allah placed strength in their hearts through the very wounds they thought would destroy them. You may look at your life and see a mess, but Allah sees something deeper. He sees the battle within you, the sincerity of your struggle, the quiet efforts that no one else notices. And He is rewriting your story not by erasing your past, but by transforming it. Speaking about, He does not need to delete your pain in order to give you peace. He brings peace in the midst of the pain. that should be speaking about. He brings clarity through the confusion. He brings light through the very cracks that broke you. So your broken chapters are not shameful. They are sacred. They are places of transformation. They are part of how your purpose is shaped and fulfilled. And remember, even the Prophet N experienced pain. He lost loved ones, faced rejection, endured mockery, was driven out of his own home. And yet every moment of his pain was tied to his mission. Every wound brought him closer to Allah. Every trial prepared him for the next stage of his journey. So if you are in pain, remind yourself that your story is still unfolding. This is not the ending. It's a chapter of development. You are being carved into someone who can carry light, not just for yourself, but for others. Your purpose is not destroyed by pain. It is born through it. People can be quick to walk away when they see your weaknesses. They may abandon you at your lowest point, speak ill about you when you can no longer defend yourself, or distance themselves when you no longer serve their interests. This is the nature of people. They love when it's convenient, support when it's beneficial, and leave when it becomes difficult. But Allah does not treat His servants like that. When the world walks away, Allah comes closer. When people give up on you, that is often the very moment when Allah begins to lift you in a way no one imagined. It's painful to feel abandoned. It's hard to be judged for your past, misunderstood in your present, and doubted about your future. But you don't need the approval of people who don't understand the depth of your journey. You need the one who sees what they don't. And Allah is the one who never gives up on you, no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how many times you've slipped, no matter how broken you think you've become. Even when others write you off, Allah is preparing to write a new beginning for you. Your worth was never tied to how others treated you. Your value doesn't decrease because someone failed to appreciate it. People will judge you by what they see, but Allah judges you by what He knows. He knows your battles, your sincerity, your repentance, your intentions. And when He writes your next chapter, it will not be based on your mistakes. It will be based on your efforts to return to Him. That is why you should never allow someone else's rejection to define you. You are not who they say you are. You are who Allah says you are, and He is the most merciful, the most loving, the most just. There are times in life when you feel completely alone. You try to reach out to people, but no one understands. You share your struggles, but they minimize them. You express your pain, and they mock you or ignore you. And in that silence, you feel a loneliness that is deeper than just being physically alone. But even that loneliness has a purpose. It is a place where you finally turn to the one who truly listens. And that turn, that moment of surrender, is where your real healing begins. It's the moment when Allah takes over and begins to open doors you didn't even know existed. When people give up on you, they may think your story is over. But Allah is the author of your story, and only He decides when a chapter ends and when a new one begins. And the beauty is that He can write the most beautiful beginnings after the darkest endings. He can restore what you thought was forever broken. He can honor you after you've been humiliated. He can lift you after you've been brought down. And the chapter He writes next will be filled with mercy, with meaning, with purpose, as long as you turn back to Him and walk the path of faith. Even if it's slow, even if you stumble along the way, your future is not limited by your past. The one who was lost can be guided. The one who was broken can be healed. The one who was rejected can be chosen by Allah. People see snapshots, but Allah sees the full picture. He knows where you've been, but more importantly, He knows where you're going. And He has not given up on you. That's why you're still breathing, still trying, still turning to Him. Every dua you make is a sign that the connection is alive. And from that connection, a new chapter begins. There will be moments when you look around and feel completely directionless. You'll wonder why things had to turn out this way, why the path you were so certain about suddenly disappeared, why the people you trusted the most turned away, why the dreams you held for years didn't come to life the way you imagined. And in that moment, you'll ask yourself, am I lost? But the truth is, you are not lost, you are being led. You are being led by the one who knows every corner of your soul, every thought you carry, every prayer you whisper, every fear you hide. You are being led by the one who authored your story long before you were born. The problem is, we often define guidance by clarity. We think if things are going well, we are guided, and if things are falling apart, we must be off track. But guidance isn't about having a smooth journey. It's about trusting the one who is guiding you, even when the road is rough. Just because you can't see the destination doesn't mean you're not moving toward it. Sometimes the fog is thick, but the GPS is still working. Sometimes you walk in the dark, but the one holding your hand never lets go. Faith means trusting the author, even when you don't understand the plot. It means waking up and saying, "Why Allah? I don't know what today holds, but I know you're in control." It means placing your heart in the hands of the one who sees the bigger picture. You might feel like you've taken the wrong turn, but perhaps that detour saved you from something you didn't see. You might feel delayed, but perhaps Allah is writing your moment of arrival in a way that will surprise you beyond imagination. What you see as confusion, Allah sees as redirection. The journey of life isn't about knowing every step. It's about taking each step with faith. That faith is what keeps you going when your plan falls apart. That faith is what carries you through when your heart is heavy and your eyes are filled with tears. That faith is what allows you to say, "Oh, I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I trust the one who does." You may not see the outcome now, but trust that it is being written by the one who is most wise, most loving, most merciful. And He never misguides those who sincerely seek Him. My beloved brothers and sisters, if there is one message you take from everything you've just heard, let it be this: you are never truly lost as long as you keep turning to Allah. No matter how far you've gone, no matter how shattered your plans may be, no matter how many people gave up on you or how many doors closed in your face, your story is still alive in the hands of the one who never tires of giving chances. Every delay you've endured, every tear you've shed, every heartbreak you've suffered, none of it is wasted. It is all part of a script more perfect than anything you could have ever written for yourself. You may not see the full picture now, but every page is unfolding with wisdom, with purpose, with mercy. Allah is not rewriting your story to punish you, but to rescue you, to refine you, to raise you. So do not despair. The author of your story knows exactly where to take you, how to heal you, and when to elevate you. Trust His process. Walk with Him through the pain, through the darkness, through the uncertainty, and you will come to realize that you were never lost. You were simply being prepared for something greater than what you prayed for